So while there's all of this talk of bathrooms, there's this thing that's going around that says you wouldn't want him in your bathroom, or you wouldn't want her in your bathroom. You wouldn't want him in the women's room.
And what's the problem with that? You're acting like that's a problem? That supports your argument. That supports, or at least it tells the people who think that all transgender men should be in the women's bathroom and all transgender women should be in the men's bathroom. It shows them that that's not at all a good solution. Like, that's a good thing. What are you talking about? It's showing a transgender man who passes as a male. It's showing that he should be in the men's room. Don't you agree with that?
And they're showing these very stereotypical cis-passing trans men that pass 100% as cis people.
And that's the point of transitioning. That's what every trans person strives for, you idiot. You idiot. Like, I understand if you just can't pass, and that's nobody's fault, but that supports your argument.
And the truth is, not all trans people look like that, and it's spreading this message that all trans people are passing and look the same and look cis, and it's not true. For me, I don't pass as male or female. Sometimes I pass as both, sometimes I pass as neither. Sometimes people have no idea what I am. I mean, I just went to the airport and they stopped me in security and they said, "What's your name?" because they didn't know who should pat me down, and they wanted to find out my first name so they could determine my gender. And this happens to me almost every single time that I go through security and get stopped. They ask me, should the man pat you down or should the woman pat you down? And it's uncomfortable at sometimes, but that's just the way that my gender is. I don't pass as a cis male. I just don't. And I'm totally fine with that, but it's got to be known that not every single trans person passes as a cis person.
Again, that's true. There's people who don't pass, and I don't think they should use the bathroom of the gender they're transitioning to if they don't pass. But just the other thing that pissed me off, he said, like, he's perfectly fine with not passing. Seriously, dude? Perfectly fine with not achieving the point of transition. Now, I understand the reason why Ryan doesn't want to go on testosterone is because he's a singer, and that's his professional career, and he doesn't want to mess up his voice, potentially. And I understand that that's a legit reason if your career is contingent on that. But to say that he's fine with that, like he doesn't wish that he could pass as a cis male, I mean, that's your personal thing, fine, but I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing it with all these people who have genuine dysphoria and are genuinely transitioning, say that they're fine with not accomplishing the goals of transitioning. Anyway, that was just something that pissed me off. I'll continue on with this awful video.
Sorry for the rant. So I wanted to say, I am not your stereotypical trans man. I do not work out. I am not on testosterone. I have no muscle mass. Let's be honest here. I wear girls' pants sometimes. I wear girls' t-shirts sometimes. Sometimes I wear eyeliner or makeup. I don't care. You don't care, right? That's just who I am. That's what makes me feel comfortable.
This is an annoying thing that Ryan does in a lot of his videos and a lot of his other social media posts, where he'll talk about this whole concept of quote-unquote not trans enough. Maybe there are people who are generally criticizing him and thinking that he's not trans, that he's a transgender because he doesn't want to go on hormones. I don't think that's the case because he's a legitimate reason for not going on hormones. If he didn't, yeah, I'd probably think it was a transgender. But he does have a legitimate reason for not transitioning in that aspect. But the arguments that he always tries to refute, he says, like, I'm still trans enough no matter what I do. He's normally trying to refute the arguments that he used to call out transgenders. Like, oh, you don't want to transition, oh, you don't have gender dysphoria, then you're not trans. Sorry. And then he'll go, it doesn't matter what you do, I'm still trans enough. Look at me. I don't want to go on hormones. I don't have muscle mass. I don't work out. I wear girls' clothes sometimes and I'm still trans enough. Yeah, dude, you may be trans, but that's not the people we're talking about, man. We're talking about people like Ash and Milo and Riley and all that. So doing all this stupid stuff where you try and flaunt things in which you don't make an effort to look masculine, which, like, I respect his decision not to go on testosterone, that's a legitimate reason, whatever. He cannot work out if he wants. But, like, we're not even talking about you, man. like, you're basically defending the transgenders. That's what he's doing. That's the core of what he's doing. He has another video. It's like one of those dumb note cards, no speaking thing, and it's like pretty much every single thing that would indicate that he's either feminine or not trans, or at least it brings like a question to whether he's trans or not. He's like, I'm still trans. I don't know why I'm doing an annoying voice to mock him, by the way. I just started doing that. I don't know why. But like, the point is that he's basically defending transgenders with the whole not trans enough argument. That's what he's doing. He's saying it doesn't matter what you do at all, you're still trans. And that's not completely true, man. That's not completely true. I'm sorry.
To do. I am not a stereotype. Neither is any trans person, and we don't all look exactly the same, and we don't all pass as cis, and that's totally fine, and we need to create a world where we don't feel that we need to pass as cis to be safe.
Okay, this is the part that pisses me off. Like, yeah, I get it, man. You don't want to be a stereotype. Fine. Why are you pissed off at these photos? It supports your argument, man. Like, there's nothing else I can say. It supports your argument. Like, all the trans men, they're so stereotypical. Why are they presenting trans men as stereotypical? You could ask that for all men, actually. Like, there's all these muscular men on the magazine covers. Why are they all stereotypical? Oh my god. That's because a lot of men are masculine. That's why it's a stereotype. Of course, it does not apply to all men, but a lot of men are at least somewhat masculine. Same thing for a lot of trans men. Like, I'm sorry, dude, that's just how it is. Why are you getting all butthurt? And how would a feminine, not passing trans man, a feminine-looking trans man who didn't pass well, how would that support your argument? Because if there's a picture of him in the women's bathroom, he would probably look more like he belonged there. I'm sorry. So, doing what you're suggesting weakens your argument. And then there's the part that really pissed me off. He says that trans people should not feel they have to pass as cis. I will repeat that. He says that trans people should not have to feel that they should pass as cis. But that is the entire point of transitioning.
So just continue to be yourself, and that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter if you pass or not. It just only matters if you pass to yourself and if you feel comfortable enough with yourself. Because all it matters is if you know who you are. It doesn't matter if other people know who you are.
You're basically saying that trans people shouldn't make an effort to pass as cis. They should make an effort to transition, essentially. Dude, what is wrong with you, man? So I'm just gonna go into the next video. I know this is like a really, really long response. And there are more videos he has where he says he's so proud of being trans. He is glad he was born trans rather than cis, which is another thing that pisses me off, but that's a different video. Maybe I'll do more responses to him, because, oh my god, these videos are absolute cancer. I know people overuse that expression when it comes to SJW videos, but these videos, So let's just get into the last video, which is the worst video. So this is a collab video that he did with Ariel Scarcerella, who is, like a major lesbian YouTuber. She is the one who made the There's Only Two Genders video that Chase Ross and a bunch of other people got all butthurt about. And her views, are not very PC. She isn't that afraid to speak her mind about things, even when all these SJWs are pressuring her into stuff, so I do respect her on that front. However, this video was made a couple of years ago. I think she probably had some SJW views then, or at least more SJW views than she does now. I don't know if she has that many SJW views at this point, because she says some crazy stuff, and what he says is even worse. So let's just get into the video.
Wait, hold on. You actually never had bottom surgery, though.
No.
So you still have a vagina. You still have a vagina.
Technically speaking.
So some boys have vaginas. Not all boys have penises, guys. We know this now.
Okay, this is the first part that pisses me off. She goes with the whole "some boys have a vagina" narrative, which is actually the title of this video, by the way. Some boys have a vagina. Not all boys have penises. Some girls have penises. Not all girls have vaginas. I don't know why I'm doing these nasally, high-pitched voices to mock them. It's just what I'm doing. I don't know why. And that's a narrative that really pisses me off, because technically, yes, that is true, but people don't want to be reminded of that for the most part. That's the whole point. They're transitioning. Oh my god. And like I said, I do respect Ariel Scarsero. I'm glad that she's not afraid to speak her mind, but the stuff she says in this video is just awful.
And there's no reason to be ashamed.
Okay, that was awful. There's no reason to be ashamed, other than maybe the fact that gender dysphoria exists, and the whole reason you are transitioning is to rid yourself of it. And even if you don't get bottom surgery for costs or risks or whatever reason, you still have discomfort with that area of your body. I've noticed that this is like a common thing Ryan does in a lot of his videos. First of all, he dismisses the struggles of people with gender dysphoria and people with mental illness in general. Then in another one of his videos, he said that being trans was a good thing, that he was proud of that. Again, dismissing the struggles of transgender people. Then he dismisses the struggles of transgender people even more by acting like people having dysphoria about their genitals is not a thing. His implication is that it's basically, there's no reason to be ashamed. His implication is that basically it's society that makes people ashamed. These videos honestly are like dangerous to my health, man. I don't call things cancer a lot just because that's an overused term, but these videos are just absolute pure cancer.
Why did you decide to get one and not the other?
One, bottom surgery is hella expensive. I don't know who
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a legitimate reason for not having bottom surgery. It is very expensive, and luckily some insurance providers are starting to cover it, but a lot still don't, or at least they don't cover a significant amount of it, and that is an actual legitimate reason, so thank you for saying, like, the one correct thing in this thing, Ryan. Everything else he's spewing is just total nonsense.
And two, I'm really comfortable the way I am now, which I never felt this way in my life, so it's like a whole new page for me to be comfortable with my body.
Wait, you said that you've never felt this happy in your life before? You've never felt this comfortable with your body in your life before? Okay, I can understand that after having top surgery, sort of, but is he honestly implying that he wasn't comfortable with his genitals, and now he is? Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but if that's what he's implying, man, what? What you say? So much of what he's saying confuses me to no end. I mean, this almost makes me think that he used to be more open about having dysphoria, especially regarding his genitals, and then he got brainwashed, and now he's not comfortable to talk about that anymore. I kind of think that's what's going on with a lot of trans guys. Maybe that's just me thinking that. But if he's honestly implying that he had bottom dysphoria and now he doesn't, I don't even know what to say in response to that.
So for all the people out there that are a trans guy that have a vagina.
Well, thanks for reminding us, Ariel. I mean, I'm glad that you've become more rational now. But yeah, thanks for reminding people who do not want to be reminded of that at all. Would you go up to a guy who wasn't trans, who had gynecomastia, like, you have boobs, ha 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 ha, you're a guy with boobs? No, you wouldn't.
Have some pride, okay? That vagina is amazing. And you know what? Vaginas have like 8,000 nerve endings. Penises only have 4,000, okay?
This almost makes me lose my respect for Ariel. Again, I know she's changed, but have some pride. Have some pride in having a body part that would make you dysphoric. This is the reason why this video is the absolute worst of the three.
Speaking from my own personal experience, I'm trying really hard to accept myself better down there and like actually call it something and stop like thinking crazy about it, you know, and just having like vagina pride, basically.
Stop with this vagina pride. Stop it. Trans guys are not comfortable with having a vagina, much less proud of it. So shut up. Shut up about this nonsense. Honestly, man. And the fact that, so he's basically saying that he did feel dysphoric about it, or that he is feeling dysphoric about it, and he says I shouldn't think all crazy about it. So he's basically trying to get rid of his dysphoria without transitioning. First of all, that's impossible. Second of all, that's unhealthy because that's impossible. This is the whole thing I've been talking about. Like, the SJW ideology basically dictates that trans men should not have bottom surgery, or that they should at least be wary about considering it, and not just about the risk, like, just ideologically, kind of. Like, oh, you shouldn't be dysphoric about this body part. You should be proud of it.
And I think that this would be a good step for a lot of people, because a lot of people can't really afford bottom surgery, or maybe they just don't want it.
Well, also, just because you have a vagina doesn't mean that you are a woman, right? We already know that.
But a vagina is a female organ. Yes, you can be a trans man and have a vagina, but it's still a female organ. How do you not understand this? And again, I know getting pissed off at Ariel, I do respect her, I do respect what she's been saying recently, but this video, and Ryan was saying, okay, you know, it would be a good step to be proud of that part if you can't afford bottom surgery. I understand if you can't afford bottom surgery, or if there's some other obstacle blocking you from it, but you still can't be proud of that organ. What? This pisses me off so much. They're entirely missing the point of being trans, pretty much. But this video is almost over, so don't worry guys, we'll be done with this soon.
So it's not even about being a woman, it's about being a Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah,
you should have Ryan Pride,
yeah,
or George, or whatever the hell your name is out there.
And the whole point is, like, we need to break down these social constructs, so we need to know that, like, vagina does not mean woman.
So he's basically implying that biological sex is a social construct. I know this was a few years ago, but already he's implying that. And no, obviously he's wrong. Biological sex is not a social construct. A vagina is a female organ. I'm sorry. It just is. It just is. And if it's just a social construct that you need to break down, why did you transition in the first place, huh? If biological sex is a social construct, wouldn't you already be a man without transitioning? This just makes no sense. This is just so hypocritical. So the rest of the video is just them saying like and subscribe and all that. So I'm just gonna end the video here. The funny thing about this particular video, and I feel like Ryan and Ariel kind of had this coming to them, because what they said was just awful. They got backlash from their own SJW community. I mean, of course, I'm sure plenty of SJW supported whatever they're saying, but they got a bunch of backlash from people within their own community. It's just, it feels so good when SJWs start eating each other. Like I said, though, Ariel's actually a cool gal, but not in this video, she isn't. So yeah, that was my response to all these atrocious videos. I hope you at least had some fun suffering through this with me. I know I didn't make quite as many jokes just because I think like the subject matter was more content-oriented and more serious, but I hope I still was able to entertain you guys. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.
Feel the funk.